I'm Matt, and this is Holly. We've been exploring and travelling around Australia in our old Toyotas for the past 3 years, going to some incredible locations. Subscribe to join our adventures. Alright, hello everyone, Matt here. So, what has been going on? We've been very, very busy lately. We've been madly trying to get ready for a trip. And of course, just as we're about to leave, COVID has other plans and has sort of ruined our plan A, and then we had a plan B, which was ruined. Plan A was going to South Australia, sort of via Birdsville, get down the Strzelecki, and then into the Flinders Ranges. That kind of fell through with South Australia closing, and then we decided that we're going to do the Madigan line in the Simpson Desert with a mate. Now, pretty much everything's closed now for the moment, so we're just going to take stock and just keep getting everything ready with the car, make sure it's tip-top, because obviously the Madigan line is a pretty hard drive. You know, it's about 800 k's of dirt track, and you know, you're going to need to be really well prepared for it. Our mate has a really nicely set up 79, so I'm not worried about that, and he's a really handy guy as well, so I think he's a perfect kind of bloke to do this kind of trip with. But yeah, it's something we haven't done before. It's definitely challenging, this kind of really remote stuff, so getting Elsie ready for it is definitely something I've been thinking about a lot, and just ticking off all those small things that I've been wanting to get done. So yeah, what have we done? So pretty much we've moved around a bit of the weight. So the weight was really uneven in Elsie, so we moved the tent forward on the roof rack, changed the max tracks from being on the side of the vehicle to up top on the roof rack. We shifted a few things around inside, and already the weight's feeling a bit better. Because it's going to be heavy on the trip, I'm going to have 2 spares, going to have the sub tank full. I'll get onto that later, but yes, got the sub tank working again, which is really good. So 188 litres of fuel, I think, all up, yeah, which is pretty good. Yeah, small things, servicing, new filters, spare parts. Yeah, there's a lot to think about. So we're going to keep going today. Bit of trip prep. What do we got? Going to put Bushranger flag on, sand flag. Just going to get that on the front, and we've got 23.0 shower tent. We actually didn't know 23.0 made shower tents. We just checked online the other day and saw it. We wanted something a bit better quality. Didn't want to go one of the cheaper ones, just say looks a little bit flimsy. This is a few nice little features. Got a little USB socket so you can plug it in, and you got lights inside. It does feel like a really good quality unit. Heavy duty zip, bag feels really nice, so keen to get on there and actually see what it's like. And also they give you a 13mm self-ratcheting spanner in the, like, thank you, that is so nice. What else? Holly has cleaned the whole car out, madly cleaned the whole car out, so thanks Holly, just behind the camera now. And we've got one more thing going in the car. We've got heaps of stuff going on in the car, but one more thing going in today that we are super excited about. I actually think it's probably the modification I think will probably make the biggest difference to our day-to-day drives in Elsie. I'm looking so forward to it. Anyway, more on that later. So we've got the Bushranger flag and the 23.0 tent, both from A247 gear. They've got heaps of stuff. We've got heaps of their stuff in the car. That is some really high quality gear. So if you are looking for some really good gear for your camping, touring, heaps of stuff, check out their website. We have a code OLT20 for orders over $100, get $20 off. So check it out. We'll put the link below if you need any of this stuff. I'm definitely really interested to have a look at this 23.0 tent. I reckon it's looking like a good bit of gear. But let's get to it, start installing these bits and pieces. Like that. They give you a self-ratcheting spanner. I've been wanting a set of these for so long. And I've got a 13, which is what I use for everything on this roof rack, so perfect. that go?
How excited are you?
I am. Like, look at these things. How many Ks have we done in these?
25,000.
25,000.
I think.
Probably close to 30,000 now. 30,000 Ks in these seats. Far out. Alright, now I did say there was one more product to go into the car, and it's one I'm by far the most excited about. So, as you can see here, I have my front seat out of the car. Now, before I show you what I'm going to be replacing it with, I'm just going to take the cover off this old seat, and I'll show you the nearly 30,000 Ks I've done in this seat, and show you what I was sitting on and the kind of support I had. So I'm pretty sure this is an original Toyota seat. I actually think we have two original driver's seats. Weirdly, I'm not too sure what it's from. It could be from a 60 series as well. Not too sure, but it's definitely Toyota. I know that because the rails bolt up to it perfectly without any bracketry or anything. All right, I'm gonna just turn it upside down here. Take this off. Oh, wow. Toss that. All right. So, as you can see, this seat's been in a fire. And the foam on it has just sort of melted and completely disintegrated. It is absolutely atrocious. Now, so when I sat in this seat, I don't know if you've ever noticed in the video, the driver, whoever's in LC, looks way shorter than the person who's in the passenger seat. That's because pretty much I was sitting on the floor in LC. This just obviously no support. Like, I can just see straight through there. That's just a hole. My lower back would hurt so badly after a couple of hours. Even short drives, no good. I mean, the longer ones, 8 hours plus, man, my back hurt. Horrible. And they're just old and crusty, and it's yuck. It's disgusting, really. Glad to end that chapter of my life. So originally I was actually looking for XR6 seats, specifically out of a Falcon Ute, because they have the lever so it flicks forward, which would have been handy in the Troopy. Problem is, every man and his dog wants them for either his Land Cruiser or his Patrol, and you can't find them. You just cannot find them. I've rung up wreckers all around. They all just pretty much the same consensus. Is just, look, they're just so hard to find, and they're not cheap. You're looking like $500-600 for a set of seats if they're in decent nick. And at the end of the day, you're still buying a seat that's like 10 years old or something plus. So yeah, didn't find that. This opportunity came up. I'll show you what we're replacing it with. All right, so here we have a Vario XL from Scheel-man. This is a German-made seat. Bloke in Australia has just started importing them, and just look at it. It is such a nice unit. In real life, I can tell you, like, the fit and finish. Yeah, those guys over in Germany know how to build stuff. That's for sure. So the Scheel-man seats are going to be imported into Australia. Are going to be pretty specced out. So any seat, if you get it over here, is going to have heaps of features. I wrote them down, so I'll run through them now. So 4-way lumbar and adjustable side bolsters. So you just got heaps of different adjustability. It will come with tilt. So it's a little tilting lever here, which is perfect for us in the Troopy, because we're going to have the navigator gear bags behind with all our head torches, EPIRB, all our sort of stuff we sort of have behind our seat. That's going to be really easy to access with the tilt. Heating. So these seats will come as standard with heating, which is unreal. Usually if you're getting seats from other brands like this, that is an option, and it's usually very expensive, so that's really nice to have that as standard. And a map pocket at the back as standard, so they're all the standard features. You can get an armrest for them as well on either side, and you can fit that to the seat regardless of whether you had it as an option when you originally got the seat or not. So if you decide you wanted them later, you can put them on, so that's no worries. And if you're prepared to wait a little bit longer, there are different trim options, heaps of different options. I think the suppliers said they're going to try and have black, grey and brown in stock. So there's already a few options there. I really like this grey. It's going to match our sort of interior in Elsie as it is, our light grey door cards on Elsie. This is sort of probably your more your Land Cruiser colour. Your newer Land Cruisers and all that. As I said, it looks fantastic. But yeah, brown trim and everything for your old 60 series could look really cool. So these seats, they're for people, who want an upgrade for a lot of your older four-wheel drives and some newer ones as well. Plenty of newer ones actually. But I'm thinking Land Cruisers, Land Rovers, that kind of thing. 70s are a massive one. Now, I've had a few people I've talked to who have upgraded seats in their car, and I've never met anyone who's regretted buying the seat and having that extra bit of comfort. For the kind of case we're doing, I just think this is probably going to be my favourite upgrade to the car. I'm so excited about this. I think it's going to make such a huge difference, especially in a 40, which is so uncomfortable from factory that, I don't know, it's, yeah, I'm really excited. Anyway, let's get in the car and see how it fits. Looks pretty flash so far. I'm going to sit in it for the first time. Man, fits well. It fits really well. It's actually a little bit thinner than the original seat, but it's not too thin. But it's fantastic. It fits really well. I was a little bit worried because it's such a narrow cabin, the 40. Fits fantastic. I've got the red arc gear behind there. I think I should have enough room. But anyway, see how I go. I might have to adjust the steering wheel a bit. Oh man. It's hugging me. Just getting the adjustments. So that's moving the base out. My legs. It's funny, it's just so used to like sitting on the floor in this, having a steering wheel up here and this thing. Oh, it feels good. Feels really good. I'm gonna have to get this out of the way now. I'm a bit higher. Alright, so another thing that I've been getting sorted in the car is spare parts. Now, this is a more remote journey. So you want to be well prepared, especially in an older vehicle like this. We are going with another vehicle. If we were going by ourselves, it's a whole nother, kettle of fish there, and you'd really want to be sorted out. Having another vehicle just gives you a few more options. The bloke we're going with, Adrian, he's super handy, and he's going to be carrying a lot of tools, a lot of spares. He's going to be a real asset on the trip. As for spares that I have packed for our car, I'll run through a couple. I'll run them out on my phone just so I remember. Bearings, I've got 2 sets of wheel bearings, spare studs, fuel filters, got a couple of spare fuel filters and inline filters. I've replaced the air filter. I thought I'd just bring a new one and that'd be fine, just make sure it's cleaned out every day. Radiator hoses, hose clamps, radiator sealant, coolant, oil, belt, wire, fuses, miscellaneous nuts, bolts, screws, tyre plug repair kit, 2 spare tyres, zip tyres, just general tools, and fuel doctor. So that's what I've got so far. Now, you could go a step further. You bring CVs, axles, but I don't think I'm going to go that far. I'm not going to worry about, starter motor, alternator, or anything like that. Look, water pump seems like it's in good nick, so yeah, it's sort of, where do you stop with spare parts? So look, I'd love to hear, comment below what you take for your spare parts, because I'm curious, especially if you've got an older vehicle, or a new vehicle, but an older vehicle, and yeah, tell me what you take and what you've found has been useful in the past. I'd really like to know because it's a new area for me, so that'd be good. What else have we done? I've been doing a lot of just general maintenance to the car. All the bearings have been done, swivel hubs have been rebuilt, new clutch, obviously just keeping up with servicing, sub tank as well. So this had a sub tank in it, gauge doesn't work, and I've never had to go a little mechanical valve and had a good look at that, just make sure that's all good. I have dropped the tank before, had a good look inside. Now I can figure out what was wrong with it, if there was anything wrong with it. looking in here, there's quite a bit of diesel, which is actually a good thing. Like, if you have fuel tanks sitting, you want fuel in them. Diesel's especially good because it's oily, so there's no reason why the inside of this tank shouldn't be pretty good with the amount of diesel that's in it. So yeah, it must be a problem with the valve, or I just need a good clean out, I don't know. And it seemed really clean. It had some diesel in it, so it kept it sort of nice and oily inside, didn't sort of get too crusty or anything. Tipped the diesel out that was in it. There's probably about 10 litres in there. It's been sitting in there for years. Looks quite good, looked clean, so I emptied that out, put some fresher stuff in it. Again, not heaps. And then recently pumped it out and had a good look, and yeah, the diesel looked okay. So pretty much what I did is I filled the tank up pretty much, about 70 litres in it. It's a 100 litre tank, but 70 litres in it. Put a shock treatment, a fuel doctor in, did a test of the diesel, and just a little cup just to have a look at it. Looked fine, looked great. Ran a whole tank through the car and it's going all right. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I put a little, the way I did it actually is just with a 12 volt transfer pump, hose in the sub tank, hose in the normal tank. It's pretty easy, nasty way of doing things, but it works. And I didn't have to drop the tank, put a new fuel gauge in and mess around the valve and all that. So I was happy just for a simple solution now. I'll get it working one day, but for now it'll do. There's a little inline fuel filter on the transfer pump, which is, yeah, just an extra sort of added little bit of filtration to the diesel coming out of that tank. So yeah, nearly 190 litres of fuel up on the trip. That should be plenty for the Madigan line. Well, not plenty, but it will get us there. We're gonna have a little bit of backup and some jerrys, but that's no worries. That's about it. As I said, comment below, tell us what you bring for spares. I'm curious to know, because I'd like some help on this one. Alright, I'm going to keep going and keep prepping the car. Also, I forgot to mention a few extra little bits and pieces that we're getting for this trip. We've got some new camera gear sorted out. We've got one new lens coming. It's just a bit of a standard zoom. It's the 24-70 G Master. Beautiful lens, but that'll just be a bit of an all-rounder. One thing I'm really excited about actually is this little gadget here. This is called a 3-footed monster. Made in Australia. Another guy who owns the company is a really good bloke, but I think it's an awesome little GoPro mount. Pretty much it's just got 3 magnets on the bottom, and you can just whack it on anything and you can peel it off just by sort of peeling it off at an angle. If you go straight on, super strong. Cool thing about the magnets are you don't have to worry about suction cups and your GoPros falling off. We've never had a decent GoPro mount, so we haven't ever really got too much GoPro footage. So I'm really keen to sort of change it up a bit and get some cool shots, maybe underneath the car, the suspension working, all that kind of thing. I can just whack it on the chassis. I can put it up top on the gas bottle. I can put it anywhere there's a bit of steel on the car. So really cool little GoPro mount. As I said, if you want to check them out, 3-footed monster. Check them out. They're on Instagram, online. Really good bit of gear. Another few little things we've done in the interior. Installed some hat racks. You can just get them off eBay. They're pretty much just like a bit of wire with a spring on one end. It's just pretty much your hat sit in. So just sort of getting the interior comfort, just fiddling around with the seats a little bit, the Scheel-man Seats. We've got both seats now. Really happy with them, but with the center console fridge, the Dometic, and the seats the way they were, just fouled the knobs a little bit, the adjustment knobs. So I'm just waiting on a mate to bring a tool over, a die grinder, to grind out some of the brackets and the rails so we can move Holly's seat just over a little bit, and that way we should have enough room to put the fridges in and the seats as well. That's just the thing with the 40 series, because they're very, very thin little cab, and the Dometic's sort of quite a wide center console fridge. I've heard in the 70s that the Scheel-man Seats and the fridges fit no worries without any messing around. So yeah, we're still sort of getting these brackets right, but yeah, we'll keep going with that. Fingers crossed before we leave, we're going to get all the tie rod ends and the steering done, and really hoping I can get some new shocks in the car. I want some better shocks, so that's just a bit, just sort of working that out at the moment. So hopefully that goes in. Obviously I'll show you what we put in if it all goes ahead. We should be on the road soon. We're just waiting, we're just waiting it out a little bit just to sort of see what this this most recent COVID cluster's doing. Just everywhere pretty much. It looks like everywhere is sort of on top of it, so we should be on the road in the next few days. So yeah, next video will be a travel video. Really excited to get out on the road and just do more travel videos. It's been so long since we've had consistent travel videos, but we should have, God, we could get, what do you reckon, Hole? 10, videos out of this, maybe more.
Hopefully.
I reckon more. Yeah, yeah, the trip, if it works out, it's going to be north up to Mungandai, north into Queensland, and then across the Plenty Highway, down to Alice Springs. We want to check out the McDonnell Ranges if we get time. And then to the Geographical Centre of Australia. We'll start the Madigan line to Birdsville. Birdsville, Walker's Crossing track to Inaminka down the Strzelecki to the Flinders. And yeah, from the Flinders back. So that is a big, big loop. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful though. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, you soon. Bye.